I just finished making this little blanket with my go-to baby blanket tutorial. It has 13 rows. They consist of a single crochet, slip stitch, double crochet, front post double crochets. There's a half double and shell and picot rows. It really is a pretty little finish, and it can add a few inches dimension to your project if needed. So if you'd like to learn how, join me for a crochet along tutorial. Row 1 of this border is actually a single crochet. Now this is something I would have done anyway, especially if you're making a corner to corner pattern. The single crochet really helps even things out and provide a nice base. While you're doing it, another helpful hint is to make sure you have the same number of stitches on all 4 sides of your blanket. When I finished this round, I did a slip stitch into the very first single crochet, and I went ahead and I put a stitch marker in each corner stitch. So row 2 is a slip stitch all the way around. So a slip stitch, you're going to go into the single crochet stitch, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull through, pull all the way through. Slip stitch all the way around. And when you get back to this corner, I'll meet up with you. All right, I made it all the way around. Going to remove the stitch marker for this last corner. Slip stitch there. And then I'm going to join this with an invisible join. So I'm going to remove my hook, put it in the back of that slip stitch, bring it through, grab the loop, and pull it through. I'll put that stitch marker back in the corner. I'm actually putting it in the stitch behind it, and I'll tell you why. So that completes row 2. Moving on to row 3. This is a double crochet row, but we're going to do the stitch into the previous single crochet stitch of row 1. I'm going to go into the first single crochet stitch and do a chain 3 to bring myself up to the height of a double crochet. So I'm going to go into the back. So you can see your slip stitches are in the front. Your previous single crochet is pretty visible here. So I'm going to go in, chain 1, 2, 3, yarn over, we'll go into the next stitch, double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook into the stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. In the habit of doing single crochets, yarn over, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to double crochet down the side till we get to the corner, and then I'll show you what to do on the corner. All right, I'm going to count the side of this granny square before I go into the corner. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34. So what we want to do on the corner, and I have the stitch marker actually in the single crochet in the back. What we want to do is 2 double crochets with a chain 2 in the middle. So that's 1, on a chain 2, and do a second. And I'm going to put my stitch marker back in the space. So that's how you handle the corner, and then we'll continue along your sides, 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets from row 1. All your corners will be a double crochet, a chain 2, and another double crochet. I'm on the last corner, and we'll end this row with a slip stitch into that chain 3 we began with. So insert your hook into the 3rd chain at the top, grab the yarn, pull through all the way, there's your slip stitch. Now I'm going to fasten off and start a new color. I will weave in my ends and fuss about those later. Okay, so row 4 is basically a double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 all the way around. The corners will still do a double crochet, chain 2, and a double crochet. So let's start with a standing double crochet in the last stitch before a corner. So let me just, in case you haven't done a standing crochet. So you have your slip knot on your hook, yarn over like you would a double crochet, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and that's a standing double crochet. Or you can fasten on in a chain 3 if you like. So now let's go into the corner, and we will double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, and take the stitch marker out, place it in the corner, which you really don't need to do anymore, but sometimes it helps keep your place. So you want to start off with a double crochet in the very first stitch after the corner. And then you would chain 1, skip 1 all the way across. But what you're going to find out is this pattern is perfect with an odd number of stitches per side. I happen to have an even number of stitches per side. So what I'm going to do is after each corner, I'm going to do 2 double crochets, and then I'll start my chain 1, skip 1, and you'll see on the end you're going to have only 1 double crochet next to the corner. You're not going to notice it, but it helps you complete it. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, double crochet in the last stitch before the corner. Go right into the corner with a double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, either get rid of the stitch marker or replace it. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets to start before we chain 1, skip 1. That's how I'm going to deal with the odd number. If you have a creative solution, go for it, because we can do whatever we want. So that's the pattern. After the corner, 2 double crochets without any chains, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 all along. Complete this row and I'll meet you back up for row 5. I'm in the 3rd to last stitch of the row. I just did a double crochet in it. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to slip stitch into, I'm going to skip a stitch and slip stitch into this double crochet, the standing double crochet that we started with. I'm going to tie off my ends because I'm finished with this color for this row, and we're going to start the new row with the white again. Okay, row 5 is a single crochet row. We're going to start with a standing single crochet, and I'm going to go into not the corner double crochet, but the last regular double crochet stitch of that row. I'm going to do a standing single crochet. So I have a slip knot on my hook. I'm going to insert, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over like a regular single crochet, and there you have it. I'm going to single crochet in the double that's in the corner, and then the actual corner chain 2 space, we're going to do a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Probably want to put your stitch marker in here for later. And then continue on and do a single crochet in every stitch around. For the chain 1 spaces, just go right into the space, single crochet. Right. Row 5 ends with a slip stitch into the very first single crochet. So now to begin row 6. That row is going to be all slip stitches. So just go into the single crochet stitch, pull through, pull all the way through, insert your hook into the stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, pull all the way through. The corner of the previous row consisted of a chain 2 between those single crochets. So I'm just going to go in here 2 times and slip stitch. Okay, that's my corner. And then you'll continue on in each single crochet with a slip stitch all the way around. I will put that stitch marker back. All right, let's end row 6 with a slip stitch into the first slip stitch. And we're going to tie off, or I'm going to tie off because I'm going to start the next row with a new color. Row 7 is a double crochet row. But we're not going to crochet into the slip stitch we just did. We're going to crochet into the single crochet of row 5. So I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. The last single is in the corner. I'm going to start from the one before that. So it would be your second to last single crochet in that row. So again, let me just show you. So a standing double crochet, you have your slip knot, yarn over. We're going to go into, I lost my place. We're going to go into, and it really doesn't matter as long as you go into one of the last single crochets. I just don't like to tie off on the corners, but that's just my preference. So yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So I'm going to do a double crochet and the next single. And then there's my chain 2 in the corner. So I'm going to do a double crochet, a double, chain 2, another double in that same corner space. What did I do? I'm messing up here. All right, yarn over, insert your hook, grab the yarn, pull through 2, pull through 2. So that's basically what it looks like. Pull that stitch marker out, and then I'm going to double crochet into each and every single crochet on each side. And again, slip stitch into the first double crochet that we started with. I'm going to tie off this end because I'm going to switch to another color. Okay. Row 8 is a double front post double crochet row. I'm going to start with a standing double crochet in the very last stitch of this row before the corner. And then in the corner will be a double crochet, chain 2, and another double crochet. That's your corner spaces. To start the side, we'll do a double crochet in the first stitch. Now, that's the way you want it to look. You'd like to have your stitches be even, and then we'll do a front post double crochet. But like before, I noted that I have an even number of stitches on each side. To do this perfectly, you want an odd number. So what I'm going to do is do another double crochet, and then I'll start my front post double crochet alternating. So a front post double crochet is a yarn over. You go into the very next, instead of in the stitch, we're going to go around the post of the stitch. Grab your yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2 like you would do a double crochet. The next stitch, go into the top of that stitch, double crochet, and a front post, yarn over, insert your hook, go around the back of that previous double crochet, grab your yarn, pull through, complete the stitch. Regular, front post. Regular, front post. So that's your repeat. You're finishing up row 8 with a front post double crochet, slip stitch into the first double that we started with, and I'm going to tie off my end and start with a new color. Okay, row 9. I'm going back to my pink color, and this row is going to be another row just like row 8 of double crochet, front post double crochet. So I'm going to start in the last stitch before the corner double with a standing double crochet. Go into that stitch with a double crochet, and then we'll go into the corner space, double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, I'm going to go into the very first double crochet stitch and do a double crochet, the same in the next one. And then here's my first front post double. I'm going to do a front post double around that one. The next double crochet, a front post, regular, front post, regular, and there's your pattern for row 9. All right, we're coming to the home stretch. Slip stitch like we've done before, and I am done with this color. So that is the end of that row. Okay, row 10 is a half double crochet row, but instead of going into the top of each stitch, we're going to work between the stitches and go into the loops. So start with a standing half double crochet by yarning over. Let's go between the last 2 stitches, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, standing half double crochet, yarn over, we'll do a half double in the corner space, chain 2, another half double, and then we'll continue around each side by doing a half double crochet between the posts of every stitch. A pretty easy row. Okay, coming into the home stretch for this row, we'll slip stitch where we began. And then I'm going to have the same color for row 11. That's going to be a slip stitch row, just like we did with rows 2, row 2, and row 6. So I'm simply going into the next half double, slip stitch all the way around. In your corner, just go into the space, grab up a loop, pull through, do that a couple times, and then into each stitch. This first one's a little hard to see. There we go. Oh. Slip stitch. We'll do this all the way around. And then we have 2 rows left, rows 12 and 13, which will get fun. My final few slip stitches of row 11 going into the half double crochets of row 10. And finish with a slip stitch of to where I began. And I will cut my yarn, tie off. Now for row 12. Row 12 is going to be our shell row. I have a new color. And what we're going to do, basically the shell row is going to be, the shell will consist of 5 double crochets. You'll skip the stitch before and after, and then there'll be a slip stitch between. So I've already counted out where I want to start. So I have my corner. There are two chains in the corner, and then you want to count out 1, 2, 3, 4 into your 5th stitch from the corner, not in the slip stitch that you just did, but into the half double crochet behind it. I'm going to insert into that stitch behind, and this is where I want to do, I'm going to start with a slip stitch here, and then I'm going to skip a stitch, and then in the second one from where I'm starting here, we're going to do 5 double crochets. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So then I'm going to skip this next stitch, go into the second one, and do a slip stitch. And then into my corner, 5 double crochets in the corner space. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm going to slip stitch. I'm not skipping on the corner. I want to do a slip stitch right into the very next stitch next to the 5. Now I'm going to skip a space, and I'm going to do 5 double crochets into the second stitch from that slip stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip a stitch, slip stitch. Remember, you're going into the back. Don't do the slip stitches. That's your decorative ribbing in the front. You're going into the stitch from the previous row, those half double crochets. So again, I'm going to skip the next one, and I'm going to do 5 double crochet on the next. Four, 5. So there's your pattern, and you repeat for row 12. Like with the other rows, I ended row 12 with a slip stitch into the stitch we began with. So row 13, our final row, a picot row or mini picot. Basically, each shell, which is 5 stitches, is going to have 3 picots in it. We'll do one in the first, one in the third, which is the middle, and one in the 5th. So I'm back to my white yarn. I'm going to attach. You can start on any shell you like before a corner. So you want to attach into the first double crochet of the shell. There we go. Attach your yarn. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go back down into that stitch that we fastened with, and I'm going to slip stitch into it. And I like to pull it tight. Slip stitch into the second stitch of that shell, and also into the third. It gets you where you want to be. And then the middle one is a chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down, slip stitch into there, pull tight, slip stitch into the 4th stitch in the shell, into the 5th stitch of the shell, and a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Connect at the bottom here with a slip stitch, pull tight, and then between the shells I want to slip stitch here, and then slip stitch into your first double crochet, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip stitch back down into that slip stitch you made, pull tight, slip stitch into the second double crochet of the shell, into the third double crochet. I'm at the peak again, so chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Connect at the bottom. Pull tight. Slip stitch. Nope, that's the same one. Oopsie. Slip stitch into the fourth one, into the last one, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Connect at the bottom with a slip stitch. Pull tight. And then between them, I'm going to slip stitch again. So there's your repeat. It gives you a nice decorative finish to your border. Once I come all the way back around, I'll slip stitch here, tie off, weave in my ends, and you've got a pretty little blanket.